Hey people, so for this assignment, we just want to illustrate a couple little silhouettes to use in our atmospheric perspective landscape. Like right here, I just made a couple little buildings, and then I'm gonna add them in another lesson to our landscape. Here's another one. I just did trees on a different page, like 4 different trees, and then I added them to my landscape. You see I did this in under 40 minutes, so it's not terribly difficult to do like trees or buildings. But if you want to get more creative and do like aliens, great, that's fine. We'll just do them on a different page, and then in a coming lesson we'll copy them and move them on over to our landscapes. So let's just go to what yours looks like. Right here you have your atmospheric perspective landscape with 4 layers of land plus sky. It looks great. And just so you have room to work on your illustrations, you go over here to the pages palette and you can add a new page. Just create a new page, this little button right here, and now you have a blank page. If you colored it, you can change the color to white. But I'll go through making buildings first, and then a little bit later I'll do shapes. So buildings are probably the easiest thing to do because most of them are like just squares, geometric shapes, and you can pull out like a rectangle for like the building part, and maybe another long rectangle for molding, or grab a triangle and make a roof. That's great and everything. It helps to see them a little bit better if they're black, so I'm just going to select them and make them all black. And then let's see if we can add some little details. Yeah, I have a chimney. That's great. So what you have, like a basic kind of silhouette that you want, you just use union to make it all one shape. So you select everything, and compound shapes up at the top. You just click the little caret and then hit union, or I think you just click that button too. And now it's just all one shape. You can move it all as one shape. If you want to like cut out windows, just use a rectangle. I'm gonna put that one on top and then hold down Option to get another one. So you can't see them, but there are 2 shapes there. You see them if they're you hover over them. So anyways, I have those 2 window shapes. I'm going to select both of them and then cut them away with subtract. Now I have 2 little windows. Do the same thing like with a door. If you want, just grab out a rectangle for a door, and I mean even like round the corners. Put that on, like layered it on top, and then select them and hit subtract. Yep, there we go. So that's like pretty nice house right there. That's one. You can make more. I'm just going to make a long rectangle or a rectangle, and then let's add a roof. All right, so don't forget that you can change shapes with the Convert to Path tool. So you just select the shape, it has that blue box around it, and then over here, Convert to Path, and it changes in the layers palette, but it really makes it more editable with the Direct Select or the Sub Select tool. So you hit the Sub Select tool, and now you can move around that those anchor points individually. You can select an anchor point and then hit backspace or delete on the keyboard and manipulate those shapes a lot more. All right, so now that I have a different triangle, just use the pointer tool and maybe move them back into place, maybe a little bit smaller, and then Command C, Command V to duplicate it, move it over, and then Command V again, whoops, to duplicate it again. Move these around. Looks like a nice little factory. We can add a rectangle for chimney and duplicate it. Whoops. And duplicate it again. And that's it. We're going to make sure that all the shapes are black, and we're going to select and union all the shapes. So now they're all together, one shape. Same thing, you can use the rectangle tools, duplicate a couple of those, and then cut them out of your shape, your silhouette shape with the subtract. So I'm selecting all of them, then hit subtract, and now they're cut away. So there's number 2. We'll just make like some taller kind of things right here. I'll make like a smokestack real quick. It's just a rectangle, and then convert to path. So right here, convert to path, and it converts path in the layers palette. You then use the subselect tool to move around the anchor points. So the bottom's a little bit wider than the top. And you can add little details. Anything helps to make it more interesting. So it's one, and then do another one. Just make the next one thinner and wider. All right, so once you get like some kind of silhouette shape that you like, just make sure that it's all black and you hit Union. All right, so you get the idea. You can have fun with this. You make a couple little buildings, or the other thing that you can do is do like plants. So I'm just gonna make a new page and do some trees for you. Yeah, the best way to start is just like geometric shapes again. So I would pull out a triangle, make it black so we can see it nice, and kind of manipulate the size of it a little bit. All right, and then we'll add a tree trunk, rectangle, right, and hit Union, select both, and then Union. And so that looks great. That's a tree, but if you want to make it a little bit more interesting, you can like cut away little pieces to make like branches just with another triangle. Here, I'm just going to pull out another triangle and then squish it down so I get like a sharp point like that. Rotate it, and then I'm just gonna stick it like there. So I'm kind of stabbing or a spike going into my trait. And anyways, I'm just going to duplicate it by holding down Option. So hold down Option, duplicate it there, duplicate it there. I might make like some of these a little bit bigger. Duplicate it by holding down Option. Might rotate them a little bit just to give it like a little bit of variety. And make this one a little bit wider. And again, like right here, I might do this. All right, and on the other side, I could duplicate it and flip it. So duplicate it over here, and you can, where's this flips right here. There we go. So here, and then I'm just gonna duplicate it a couple more times just to show you, and like rotate these around. All right, so now I have a bunch of like spikes going into my tree, and the idea is just to subtract. So I'm gonna select everything and then go up to compound shapes, subtract, and now I just cut away those little pieces into my tree. So that's one tree. All right, and you can do that with another tree. Hold down Shift to kind of get the angles to stick at regular angles. All right, I'm gonna color this one black. And so the other thing that you can do is, well, let me put on a tree trunk real quick. All right, we have a tree trunk, and I'm just gonna hit Union real quick. Select both and then hit Union. So the other thing you can do is just convert it to a path again, convert to path, and kind of add and move around anchor points with subselect. So you grab that subselect tool, and I'm just going to zoom in for you for a second. Just add anchor points by clicking on the edge, and then you can move in and move out, move in and move out those anchor points, just so it's not like a straight line. It has like some kind of variety. There we go, in and out. And we'll do it on this side too. Again, I'm just clicking on the edge with the sub-select tool to add anchor points. So of course there's like a lot of different ways to make trees and buildings. I'm just showing you a few. You can be creative. Okay, that's another tree. So I'm going to just grab him and make him smaller and get him out of the way. There we go. And the other thing you can try to do is with the pen tool, you can go and like make a branch. When you want it to stop, you just click instead of clicking and dragging, and then click and drag back the other way and make a branch. Make a couple different branches. Oops. Let's start down here. And then when you want to like point at the end, just click once instead of dragging. And then to make those curves, click and drag. Oh, that's it. So you basically like make a couple branches and then we can select them and fill them black. And the fun, easy thing to do is just select them and then Command C, Command V to paste them. And then you can flip them and layer them. Hit Command V again to get yet another. And maybe I'll even like rotate these this way. And let's see if we can get a little bit closer. And just position these to make a tree. Really, I only made two little branches, and I just copied and resized them and put them in different positions. And now I have another little tree that I made out of the pen tool. So the options are really endless, but you basically just want to get a few elements like trees or buildings to get into your atmospheric perspective landscape. So if you just do like this for this assignment and get 3 or 4 houses or whatever elements you want on a page, you can just export that as a JPEG and that'll count for this assignment. And then next week we will just shoot them over to your landscape and then color them the right way. Again, I don't want to limit you to houses and trees, but they are pretty easy to do. If you want to do more complicated ones, you're welcome and encouraged to illustrate whatever you want for your own landscape. Have fun.